Manchester City 1, Man United 2. Manchester United are the FA Cup winners for the 23-24 season. Wow. I'm not sure how many of you guys expected this to happen before the day started, and in the manner it happened as well, but this was very shocking, and yeah, we're gonna react to it now because I got quite a bit to say about this. Now, first off, of course, congratulations to Manchester United, to Ten Hag, to all the Man United players. I have a lot of Man United fans who watch the channel, so I'm sure you guys are buzzing. And I have a lot of Man City fans as well, who are probably absolutely fuming. But let's talk about the game. You know what? This really reminded me of the Europa League final that happened this week. If you saw the review I did on that, I spoke about how Atalanta came into the game as, underdogs, kind of heavily as well. But people always knew, they posed a threat. They came up against a juggernaut and Leverkusen, and then they got Atalanta absolutely destroyed them from minute 1 to 90, and Leverkusen had pretty much no chances in the game. Couldn't string anything together, and Atalanta were fantastic. And I think this is kind of similar, not necessarily in terms of maybe the dominance aspect, but United came in like Atalanta, heavy underdogs against a juggernaut of a side in Man City, who everyone thought were going to pull off another fantastic season with another trophy. But Man United set up tactically perfect, restricting Man City to virtually zero chances the entire game, just like Atalanta did to Leverkusen, and then got the goals themselves. So full credit to United. I mean, we will be doing our preview for the Champions League final coming up soon, but I think these two finals, if you're a Dortmund fan, are definitely going to give you some hope, because who knows, the underdog has won yet again in a major final this season, so maybe Dortmund can do it, but that's for another day. Let's just talk about Manchester United though, because wow, as I said, what a performance by them. They were fantastic. They were, as you can see here, they didn't have the ball, 26% possession, but defensively this was one of the best defensive displays I've seen from a team against Manchester City in a long time. Just so good defensively. City had 19 shots, but only had 4 on target, and pretty much all 4 of them were not really anything troubling at all. United were just superb defensively. They set up in a very different tactic, which at the start of the game, I must admit, and I think a lot of people thought, like, what's going on here? Of course, he went for no Hoyland, no recognised striker, Ten Hag, and it worked like a charm. And you have to give massive credit to him, because he clearly wanted to sort of pack that midfield and make the pitch as narrow as possible, because he recognised with the way Man City have been playing with De Bruyne and Foden in those central areas, they've been much more focused on going in those central areas. City haven't really gone too wide in recent games, so he blocked out that central area, crammed it with Amrabat, Mainu, Bruno, McTominay, Garnacho and Rashford play quite narrow as well defensively, sort of like a 4. These guys just formed like a 4 of a block in front of Mainu and Amrabat, who just sat in behind them, and City couldn't get through. They couldn't get through, and United stifled them every single time. The ball was sort of on like the edge of the area near United's box. There were just 2-3 guys just running out to them and just absolutely all over them. It was superb defensively, and for once it was actually one of those games this season where United from minute 1 to 90 were locked in. They were locked in. You can't really say that for a lot of the season for Man United. spells, and then all of a sudden, there'll just be like 10-15 minutes where things collapse and lapses of concentration, etc. But this game, that was not it. Even when, Onana did have a lapse of concentration. Onana was Onana really a perfectly fine performance, and then all of a sudden just an awful one there for Doku's goal. Really should save that. But yeah, when that went in, you're thinking, okay, United, how many times this season have we seen them concede a goal, heads drop, collapse? They did it against Chelsea, did it against Liverpool, they've done it against Brentford, right? Like, so many times they concede a goal and everything collapses. But massive credit to them, because not this time. After the goal went in, they rallied together and they stuck out, and City didn't have a clear-cut opportunity after that goal, which is just incredible from United. In terms of individual players, I really don't think I can single out one player, because every single player, maybe besides Onana for that goal, but every single player played their part. Wan-Bissaka, he had a tough time in the second half coming up against Doku. He got skinned a couple times, but for the most part, really, really solid as always. Such a good 1v1 defender. Dalot, great. Mainu, wow. Mainu, just incredible. To score a goal in an FA Cup final, the winner at 18, just insane, and caps off a fantastic year. Varane and Martinez, it was a bit of a risk chucking those two together, considering they haven't played a lot this season, but they were well and truly back to their best. Evan comes on, brilliant. Garnacho, great. Amrabat, what a little resurgence he's had in the last few games, really, really good. McTominay, Bruno, Rashford, all of them, just superb. Rashford, he had a point to prove, being dropped from the England squad. Southgate was in attendance today, and he didn't get a goal or anything, but he worked his socks off. And what he did for that Kobe Mainu goal was superb. That pass he made to switch it to Garnacho was superb, and that Mainu goal was absolutely brilliant. Such a nice goal from a pass by Rashford to Garnacho, and then Garnacho taking on Gvardiol. Wan-Bissaka, I think it was as well, who has a really good part in that, because he makes that dummy run to sort of drag out and put caution into the defenders of Man City, allows Garnacho to cut inside, play it to Bruno, who I thought, why is he passing it? I was like, he's got so much space to shoot, but it was a lovely little deft pass to Mainu with a clever finish. Everything in that goal was superb football. The first goal was pretty lucky, but you make your luck, especially with Garnacho there, running, hassling, not giving up on the ball, chasing it down, and then gets fortunate with the Gvardiol and Ortega thing. From a City perspective there, that's a shambles, and I would say the play's probably 70-30 to Ortega there, because Gvardiol, right, like in that situation, Ortega as a goalie, you gotta be screaming, because Gvardiol is focused on Garnacho, he's focused on the ball. You gotta be screaming mine, or say like leave, or like make them aware that you're there. Gvardiol also needs to look up as well before he's headering it, but yeah, just a shambles there. But United did so well, so good, and what a performance! What a fantastic performance by Man United. Now, we have to talk about him, Eric Ten Hag, because Eric Ten Hag, look, there was a massive report that apparently he is going to be sacked after this FA Cup final, and everyone was talking about it in the media. Huge cloud over him and the players. And going into this, you're thinking, that's not good. That's really distracting. A lot of pressure on Ten Hag. But this was actually probably his best, maybe his best, and Man United's best performance this entire season. Tactically, his best. He was spot on. The performance by the players, spot on. Showed that these players, 110%, are still buying into Ten Hag. They have not given up on him. They still will play for him. They love playing for him, clearly. And Ten Hag, is to leave or stay, it's a fantastic way to cap off his United career. If he is to leave, because rounding off with an FA Cup trophy, I think it's a fantastic way for him, not only for to mark off his United career, saying, okay, I won a trophy in my first season of Carabao Cup and I won a FA Cup in my second year. That's fantastic. But also, if he wants to get a new job after this, if he is to be sacked, that's great for him, because he can say, I think a lot of clubs would be looking at him and he could get a decent job if he was to leave. But should he leave? Fans, let me know in the comments below. Personally, I think it's an extremely similar situation to Pochettino, which we had at Chelsea, where we've had a pretty bad year. I've had a pretty bad year when you think all things considered, but it's ended on such a positive. There's been mitigating circumstances with the injuries and stuff, but he should have done better. He's had some bad moments this year. Is he the guy to take United forward in the long term? Maybe not. But is he a good manager and a decent manager for now? Yes. So it's a very tough one, and I believe personally it's one of those situations where if you can't get someone who is better than him, who's guaranteed to be better than him, like a Dougal or someone like that, if you're going to go sack him and get like a McKenna or someone, then what's the point there? You might as well keep him. So that's my verdict on it. But yeah, I think he's definitely brought a lot of supporters from the fans, and I think Ineos are going to be very mad. I think it said it here, right? Jim Ratcliffe, he has a decision to make on Ten Hag, and it's going to be a difficult one. You kind of saw it, to be honest. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but they panned the cameras to like Ineos, Ratcliffe, and all of them guys after the win, and you could kind of see on their faces like there was a little smile, but not really. Like it didn't look like they had just won the cup, right? And I think that could have been an element of like, damn, we kind of wanted this guy to lose so we can justify sacking him. Now he's won. Like, it's going to be a bit difficult to sack him, and we're going to get a bit of like uproar from the fans. So yeah, it's a difficult one. I think they might probably still sack him, but either way, as I said, he's going out with his head held high. Right, let's talk about Manchester City. What a rubbish performance. What a rubbish performance. A real dampener on the season for them. And Pep, of course, it's still a great season. You win the Premier League 4 in a row. This is fantastic. But this was going to be the cherry on top of that cake. And it would have been a very sweet one. Back-to-back doubles, which has never been done before, is another record which could have been ticked off, but they couldn't do it. And it's not necessarily that they couldn't do it, which is the disappointing thing, is more the way they played, because this was one of their genuinely worst performances of the season. Like, really bad. Zero creativity. Absolutely nothing. As I said, 19 shots, 4 on target. None of these really threatened them. They had one good chance, and that was through Alvarez, where Foden slips him in, and Alvarez should score. Besides that, the goal came from an Onana error pot shot. The other shots on target were like Carl Walker just having a long shot and stuff. They literally couldn't break Man United down, and that is really poor and really disappointing, because this is the final game of the season for a cup. This is like the last push, and it was just so poor of a performance, and you're thinking like, that just puts such a damper on the mood on the season, and it's not the way you want to end the season, right? As I already mentioned, Ortega had a bit of a stinker with Guardiola for that goal. I mean, Guardiola for me was horrific. I thought it was really bad. Garnacho absolutely cooked him all game. Garnacho cooked him. He was quite narrow. I thought Garnacho did very well in terms of stretching that pitch. He was staying, hugging the touchline a lot of the time and getting a lot of joy. And City, I understand obviously why he's gone for this lineup, Pep, because that's how he's played, that's how they've got it done. But in hindsight, you probably would have started a Grealish or a Dogu because they needed some sort of width. The second half, you obviously recognise that, brought on Dogu, who was superb, absolutely superb. Credit to Dogu, but he didn't have enough time to salvage the whole game. And you saw once they got that width, spread the pitch a bit, Bernardo, spread the pitch as well. Suddenly, that's when Man City actually started creating a couple of chances, looking a bit dangerous. So, yeah, just really, really poor from Man City. Haaland had no service. Foden, really, really poor performance by him. Just no one really for Man City played well, and no one. I mean, Kyle Walker maybe. Kyle Walker gave everything he could and just couldn't get it past them. But yeah, just really, really bad. They lift the trophy. Manchester United. By the way, screw you, Man City. Absolutely screw you. Thank you, Man City, because you've just messed us up. You've sent Chelsea to the Conference League. I'm absolutely fuming about that. I'm fuming because we are now in the Conference League, because United, of course, they finished outside of European places, and winning the FA Cup means you automatically qualify for the Europa League. So Man United are in with Tottenham, meaning that Chelsea dropped to the Conference League and Newcastle are out of European football entirely. I mean, not good for Newcastle. I thought they were going to have a good run in the Conference League. Conference League would be good for them. But it's even worse for us. I mean, as a Chelsea fan, god damn, I do not want to be in Conference League at all. I'd rather just no Europe at all, because Conference League, sure, it's a trophy, right? But no elite level side, elite club should ever be in the Conference League. But yeah, we are in there, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure we have to go through qualifying rounds. Hoping we just tank them, please. Just purposefully lose them. I don't want to be in there at all. It might sound like snobbery, but I really genuinely it's embarrassing. Imagine Man City being in a Conference League, Real Madrid, Barca, these clubs should never be in there. And even though we're rubbish, Chelsea, we should not be in there. And it's embarrassing that we are now. And I'm hoping we just tank that and just forget about it. And it's also kind of bad for our finances as well. But yeah, that's just me on the selfish side of it. As a Chelsea fan, I'm fuming. But at least Man United, they have Europa League football next year, so that'll be good. Whoever their manager is next season, they'll be playing in the Europa League, which is really, really good. But yeah, I think that's really it. It's going to be really fascinating to see what happens with this man, Eric Ten Hag. What happens with his future? I think he might stay. I think he's gonna go. I think he'll be sacked. But it's gonna be fantastic way to end for him. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But there is the FA Cup review. Let me know your thoughts on the game.